Here's my project. It was done entirely in Python, the version of which was 3.7. The, the development environment was Spyder, which you get by Achondria. The entire project's roughly 70 to 80 lines, which if you count out spaces and comments, it's roughly 30. The first part here is just you import in all the libraries you use. The two really important ones are Crypto and Glob. Here I utilize the Glob library to essentially, it's two parts. One, it finds the files in your file system. Two, it helps it go through all the files. It takes the file root here, and the star it signals to find every subfile with the root, which I use this on both the private key here, session key here, and below the messages. Here is the hash value which I just managed to open with the regular open command in Python. Then for the project, we need to find the right session key to unlock all the messages. The private keys unlock the session keys. So I opted to utilize a double loop that takes every private key and runs it against every combination of every session key. Here it loops through all the private keys, and here it loops through all the session keys. Then the decryption happens here, and after that it takes the value of all the plain text of the session keys that we decrypt, and it hashes them, and it compares them to the hash value in the file given here. Hashing's done here. And then if the two have the same value, which you can see here, it then assigns the AES key to the value of the current session key that's running at the time, prints out the value of the AES key both in the console command, and it writes it out to a folder, and then it breaks the loop. Following this, we import in the messages here and the hash value for the correct message. And then we finish it up with this simple single loop. The loop loops through every message and has the AES key to decrypt them. So it loops here, and the decryption is here. For the decryption, we just took the AES key that we found in the double loop, and we essentially guessed the mode, which was a blockchain mode, encryption and decryption mode, and the initialization value. Finding the CBCs actually wasn't that hard, since if you use an initialization value that's a go-to one. The IV took a bit more guesswork. And then here it does the same hashing function above. It hashes the plain text and compares it to the hash value in the file. And if the two hashes match, it prints out the secret message. Some interesting metrics would be the fact that I did this both on my laptop and desktop. My laptop is a much newer CPU. It's a 9th Gen i5 versus a Phantom 2 that's nearly a decade old. But they have the same GPU, which is the GTX 1050. And the with the GTX 1050, it did nearly all the computing for the encryption, because the laptop and desktop, despite the massive difference in CPU, ended at roughly the same time. My laptop at 8 minutes 35 seconds and desktop at 8 minutes and 37 seconds. So remarkably similar. And as you can see here, I already ran it since I didn't want to wait for the entire thing to run. The secret message is, I see dead people. Which I really did hope that isn't an indication of anything to come.